Hi, welcome to Faith and Conviction, and I am your host, Ray Harris. And welcome to our next segment in the discussion about our Bibles. And in this section, I really want to focus on the Torah. And I was said way earlier in our series that this section of discussion will work for two things. And this works for our Torah study, but so does all of this. We're talking about the Bible. Where does it all begin? I just want to focus on the writings of Moses. This is considered a Torah scroll. This is a souvenir scroll from the land of Israel. So this is a modern day printed copy of a Torah scroll. If you open it up and you lay it out, you will find it printed in Hebrew. Now, Hebrew is an ancient language, and of course we know it goes all the way back to Moses at the very least, so we can discuss it from that point forward. Now, that information is handed down. Now, the very first Bible translation ever is taking Torah, I'm sorry, not Torah, I looked at the Torah scroll and thought Torah, taking Hebrew and moving it over into Greek. Now, what we have here is a modern day printed interlinear Greek Old Testament. This is called the Apostolic Bible Polyglot. Now, while this is just the 5 books of Moses, this has the books of the Old Testament, what would be considered the Hebrew canon of 22 Old Testament books, but because it's an Apostolic Bible Polyglot and it's from a Christian perspective, it also has the books of the New Testament. But I want you to grasp with me that the very first Bible translation ever was taking Hebrew into Greek. This happened 2 centuries before Jesus was born. So when Jesus was around, all he had to work with was Hebrew and Greek. Now, when Jesus was alive, the New Testament was not yet written, so he would have had access to or knowledge of the Greek Old Testament, as we call it, but it would have been the Greek Scriptures or the Hebrew Scriptures. Now, fast forward, we're going to talk about English translations of the Hebrew. This is the Jewish Publication Society, the 5 books of Moses. That's what all of these rest of these are. The 5 books of Moses, which are taking this scroll, the Hebrew on this scroll, and putting it into English. This happened in 1967 by the Jewish Publication Society. This is the 5 books of Moses with commentary, and it is by Everett Fox. This was done around 1983. So this is about 20 years separated. Now, you come over here to this one, and again, this is the 5 books of Moses. And again, this is based upon the Hebrew back over here in this Torah scroll. And that is just the 5 scrolls of Moses, the 5 books. This is by Robert Alter. It is also a translation and commentary of just Moses. Then you come over here to our last one. Again, this is a translation of Torah, and it has its commentary. And this is by Richard Elliott Friedman, and this is in the early 2000s. And I think Robert Alter was around 1996 or so. So what I want to point out is that there's a long history. Remember, this Greek was about 200 years before Jesus was born. There's a long history of taking Hebrew information into another language. Now, what's interesting is we have 4 different people in the modern English trying to bring information from the Hebrew into the English language for us to understand. That's just on the 5 books of Moses. You have 4 opinions. Well, the difficulty with any Bible text is when you go back and you read the original language, there's shades of meaning that cannot quite be carried over into the English all that well. So that's why some people like the Amplified Bible, because it brings various meanings into the English word. All of this is to set a little bit more of the foundation of why we discuss the Bible, why we argue about what the Hebrew meant and what the Greek meant, because it is difficult to bring it forward. This has its value to look at the power of all of these things. And it does allow us to see the difficulties, but also the beauty of bringing it into English. and also why we should appreciate the original languages, the Hebrew of the Hebrew Scriptures, and then the Greek of the New Testament Scriptures. I hope this helps encourage you a little bit, and join us next time as we continue to look at the Bibles and what we have available to us. In the meantime, seek God, know Messiah, find hope.